As a doctor, I think you're going to be fascinated with what I'm trying to do. I don't have much of a chance to show off, and, well, I couldn't resist telling you anyway. But once you fully understand, your life will have to wind down a very different road. Well?
I want to know.
Good.
That's trash.
Hello, and welcome to That's Cool, That's Trash, the podcast where we watch a psychotronic movie online, then get together on Skype to break down the crazy. I'm your host, Matt Howell, and I'm joined today by Rob. Hey, Rob.
Hi.
And Devin.
Hello.
Hey, guys. You guys have both been on the show several times, so people that have listened to this know who you are. Rob, I was trying to think about what was the last movie we did together? It feels like it's been a while.
It was a treat. I tell you, it was one of the roughest movies I had ever seen. It was that Indian vampire film.
It was Shaitani Dracula.
Yeah, man,
I'm sorry.
That was rough.
I'm sorry.
I mean, we had a good time. I had a good time recording it, and I made the mistake of watching a different film.
The wrong Shaitani Dracula.
Prior to that one, which was not that good either.
Yeah, that was the one time where, against my better judgment, we did a movie not in English.
So that was like, it's like, so I'll do all these like series of paper cuts on myself, and then I was just like, hey, what would happen if I put this vinegar over these freshly made wounds? Yeah.
Correct. Yes. So not that I'm a foreign film.
A good time was had. Yeah.
Foreign films without subtitles that are really poorly made, like a Scooby-Doo episode live action. That's what my issue was with that film.
Well, I saw like this cool GIF or something like that. I was like, oh my God, this is like the most amazing film ever. And that what prompted the challenge, if you will. And I think if you just saw the GIF, you saw really the highlight of the film, and you could have called it a day.
This is all coming back to me now. That's right.
I know. Right? It's true, though, right?
So it is your fault, essentially, if we're assigning
blame.
It
is absolutely my fault. I feel like I have paid the price, though. So anytime you want to release me back to the public, that would be great.
I'm so glad you're here tonight. Yeah. And it's a treat seeing your face. I don't know why I never used the video function before on the show for like the 6 years of the show.
We haven't. I don't know if you've done it with any of the other guests or co-hosts.
No, in the latter part of the run, I had a guest that had never been on before, and he just did it by default. And I was like, oh, interesting. Like facial cues and like normal human, yeah, okay, let's do that. So I've been doing it ever since. And
excellent.
Part of what made me want to revive the show during the coronavirus COVID-19 outbreak thing was seeing your faces and talking to people that I'm not married to or I didn't make. So I didn't make either of you. I don't think.
Sometimes better. Yeah.
Yes. So I love my wife and my daughter, but I'm really needing some fresh voices and faces. So thank you guys so much for being here tonight.
Respect.
And Devin.
Yes, sir.
I feel like I've drudged you through the muck as well. I feel like I accidentally made you watch 2 back-to-back shot on video anthology films. Is that correct?
You 100% did. And while I was watching this, I was like, is this a secret anthology that I haven't been told is an anthology? Because there seem to be 3 different storylines going on.
Yeah, we'll get into that for sure.
But yeah, I did Tales from the Quad Dead Zone, and I forgot the other one. Satan's
Storybook.
Satan's Storybook. Oh boy.
Starring Jennifer Lynn Allen.
Yeah, I watched that one.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to talk to you guys tonight because we are participating this year for the first time in a blogathon, which we've done other blogathon things with other podcasts, but this is the Vincent Price Blogathon. And I don't know why I passed on previous years when they sent that out, but I thought, well, we're doing a revival. VP's my main man. We've never done him on the show before, mostly because he's not a good fit for the format that we usually do. But I worship the guy, so let's do something fun. And I picked a film that I had never seen before. So we're going to be talking about Scream and Scream Again from Amicus Films, 1970. And this was my first time. Was this your first time, guys?
Yeah,
it was.
absolutely.
I had not heard of this one,
Okay.
which just made me, it's like I knew he had done a lot of films, but there's got to be dozens of other Vincent Price films I'm probably unaware of.
I looked him up on IMDb earlier. He has 204 acting credits.
Fair enough.
I
But that
believe
includes
it.
TV, right? Like,
It does include TV, but like that's still a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going to kind of be speaking more to the tourist who might be checking us out from the blogathon kind of stroll instead of maybe our regular listeners. So maybe I'll try and address both people briefly. If you're here just for Vincent Price, on our show, we usually watch really, really bad movies, hopefully ones that are so bad they're fun to watch. So That's Cool, That's Trash is where we watch those movies, we talk about them, we play some clips, and at the end we decide, is this cool or is this trash? And the criteria for that is completely vague and personal and subjective. Regular listeners who don't know why we're talking about Vincent Price, I love Vincent Price. I've been obsessed with him since I was a kid. I've been obsessed with Monster since I was a kid. And so I had to jump in on this. I was curious to see this one because I love Amicus films. If you don't know Amicus, they are considered to be like Hammer's cheaper, less successful little brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yep.
And I fucking love them. They're most well known for their portmanteau films. So Torture Garden, Dr. Terror's House of Horror.
Yeah, Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, I believe.
Yeah, they have Asylum is really, really good. They did 2 of the EC adaptations in the early 70s, Tales from the Crypt and
Black.
No. So and they did a great job of sniping Hammer's talent. So you would not be, remiss to think like, oh, this is a Hammer anthology because it's got Peter Cushing and, Donald Pleasance and so like in it. Like they had a lot of the same talent, the same stable of folks coming in. So in many ways they crossed over there. They started off doing some cheapy B-movie teen movies like It's Trad Dad, like traditional folk. Like, yeah, we need a teen movie about folk music because eating this shit up. But what in 62 they were though, to be fair. But then they quickly pivoted into they did a Doctor Who movie, Doctor Who and the Daleks.
Oh, did they do that one?
Yeah.
Where Peter Cushing was the Doctor?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They did the Deadly Bees that was riffed by MST3K at one point. They did a lot of different stuff. They did some sci-fi, which we watched tonight. They didn't stick around long. I think late 50s to late 70s, which is respectable, I guess. But I was just shocked that there was an Amicus film I hadn't seen, and there was a Vincent Price movie I hadn't seen, and somehow Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee were in it, and no one was talking about it.
I was stunned when I saw their names in the credits, too. I was just like, how in the hell have I not heard of this movie?
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for inviting me for this one. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited. So before we dive into this film, which was shot in 69 and released in 1970, I would like to talk a little bit about just the man, Vincent Price, a little bit. I mean, a lot of folks listening to this are big fans and know a lot about him, so I'm not going to do some kind of bio dive. But just about your personal kind of like what you remember about getting into him or what you love about him or whatever. Devin, why don't you start?
Well, I am a child of baby boomers, so my introduction to Vincent Price is the Thriller album. That's where I know Vincent Price from as a kid. Side note, I remember walking by the record store where they had like the Michael Jackson Thriller cover when I was like 4 and it was right at eye level and I was terrified of that tiger, so scared. And then my mom showed me like that night we came home from the mall and she's like, look, I got the new Michael Jackson album. And I was like, no.
Wait till you see John Landis's music video.
Yeah, exactly.
You directed that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's where I knew Vincent Price from. And then for a while, Vincent Price was the guy from Thriller. Like, I saw Edward Scissorhands, and they were like, oh, it's Vincent Price. And I'm like, who? Oh, the guy from Thriller. Oh, the guy from Thriller. And then I read the Encyclopedia of Monsters, actually, Matt. The Encyclopedia of Monsters.
Which we were talking about online.
And it had inside it, it's an encyclopedia from the mid 80s of just all kinds of monsters. And I remember one of the articles that I read, probably at 11 or 12, was about The Tingler, the film The Tingler. And I became obsessed with that movie. And then from that point on, Vincent Price was horror master Vincent Price, and I would watch horror movies of Vincent Price.
Love it.
That's my Vincent Price origin story.
I love how, like our generation. I'm not gonna step on Rob's thing, but like it's so funny those books like that I would check out from the school library all the time about different monsters. You know, like the Gollum, the missing Gollum silent film, and all that stuff. Like all this stuff just completely baked who I am as a person. Like so young. I can't imagine. Like, did the Tingler talk about the gimmick?
Oh, it did. It talked about the gimmick.
Man.
And I mean, I did eventually see it twice in the theater. Once with a buzzer seat.
Oh,
man. So my indie theater here, had booked one of those, and the units got lost somewhere on the way by FedEx. So they sent out a thing like a day before saying, sorry, the gimmick units aren't here, but if you want a refund, we'll give you a refund, but we're still showing the Tingler Sans buzzed seats.
Yeah.
Which is still a great film. I still love Tingler, but I really did want to see it.
For sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. That's got to be a once in a lifetime opportunity.
It was amazing. It was like 11-year-old Devin is so excited right now.
and I believe, is this the case when it was originally released, not all seats were wired, right? It was just random. It was just like 40 seats in the theater were, right?
So you would hear like someone just scream over behind you, and you feel someone scream over there. Like,
that's so great.
Yeah.
God, I love Castle. Rob, talk to me.
I think it was probably one of his records. So I hadn't actually seen him, but I heard him because, I mean, that voice of his is like butter. It is just such an amazing voice, right? And so I believe the first time I encountered Price was through one of his Halloween horror, albums.
Cadman records, like the Tales of Witchery.
That sounds right.
Like that type of stuff.
Exactly. Tales of Witchcraft or things like that, where he tells you how to do a spell or something like that. You're familiar with it, Matt. I mean, but I think like the first Vincent Price movie I'd seen was probably like a Saturday afternoon or something like that, where like the local UHF station was airing some sort of schlocky black and white. They were usually black and white. Or actually I had seen a lot of the Hammer films through this channel too, so that's why I have like an affinity for Cushing and Lee as well. But it was probably like a Saturday afternoon with my dad, something like that. We're just lounging around, and if it wasn't like an old Godzilla or a Gamera movie or some sort of Hammer film, it was probably had Vincent Price in it or something like that.
Oh, wow. And
so it was probably something like either like House on Haunted Hill, or might have even been like one of my favorite Vincent Price films, like The Last Man on Earth, where he was like, I think that was probably about as like straight as he ever played it, and he like narrated the whole thing, and those are probably like my earliest memories or encounters with the man Vincent Price. So,
and that is in my opinion, the best adaptation of I Am Legend by Richard Matheson, period. Like, I love Omega Man, don't get me wrong.
Sure. That is of its time, kind of, though. Where I feel like, but I feel though that, yeah, like The Last Man on Earth, though, it's like, even though it is like, you can tell even for that studio, that was probably low budget. But I think because of that sort of like minimalism almost that it has to it, and that they really do try to play it fairly straight, almost like Romero's Night of the Living Dead, that it really works, and it still, I think, holds up, like 60 years later?
Yeah.
Is it quite that old? I mean, it's older than me.
It's around 1960.
Sure, so.
Like
yeah,
60,
exactly.
62.
So,
yeah, 64, I think is that. Yeah, I mean, I just was like looking for Vincent Price gifts to promote this episode, and saw that one where the first night you see him besieged by all of the vampires, and his former best friend is outside calling him by name.
Yeah,
and he just starts laughing, and then it turns into weeping, and it's like, damn, that was a pretty fucking good movie. Yeah, he did that pretty straight.
Yeah, I'm still impressed with that one. That's still one of my favorites. And then, of course, the Abominable Mr. Fives, that first one. Abominable. Help me out. Yes. Yeah. Dr. Fives.
The Abdominable.
The Abdominizer.
Indomitable. Yeah. He's a wrestler. Now he's wrestling.
I still love that film. I mean, that is like, that's sort of campy horror at its best in many ways. And God, Vincent, I mean, most of his career was really him kind of being that character. But I just never grew tired of it, for whatever reason. And maybe it is that voice again of him or something like that. I don't know what it is, where he always seems like to have almost like that smarmy, it's like, I know something you don't know. Not that he felt like he was better than you, even though he often played sort of like these erudite kind of characters and that. But
I feel like what I'm hearing you say is something that struck me when I was watching this movie, and then made me think of Vincent Price all the time. Sorry. Oh my goodness. It's been a long day. Anytime I've heard him speak, and that is that he accents and emphasizes words in such a peculiar way that he's saying one thing, but he's making you think he's saying another thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And he's got a really good talent of I have a secret.
Yes.
And I'm implying something else other than what I'm saying.
Because it was that with that little laugh he would sometimes do, like, it was like, it worked really well.
He was a massively talented guy. Again, I don't want to go too far into the stuff, but he was a huge art collector. I've read a bunch of different stuff about how he would be in Europe on a shoot, and he would stay in the shittiest Parisian little hovel because he would go out and be buying art to take home. So he'd spend all of his per diem and all of his lodging money on buying art and live in this shithole with a shared bathroom for one floor. And he's a cook. He published 4 or 6 cookbooks. In the 70s, he was kind of famous for those as well. Super erudite guy. I love that he's from St. Louis, but he has that, I love that Hollywood of that era where it's it's that transcontinental, right? Where it's I know you're American, but you sound smarter than an American. You have that mellifluous, just kind of, your accents are just a little,
When I was a kid, I thought he was an English guy who moved to America and had mostly lost his accent.
And he would love to hear you say that. Yeah, I'm sure. He's it's like Catherine O'Hara, right, in Schitt's Creek, where it's that kind of the actors, that whole thing where it's just the delivery is just killer. But I mean, he was a terrifically talented guy, and I love how good of a sport he was by being, saddled with this villain pigeonhole kind of thing, right? His whole career. I feel like he and Peter Cushing are really cool about that for the most part. The kind of I'm not begrudging it. I make people happy, and I work, and I love work, and I can find happiness anytime I'm allowed to be an actor. I think that's really cool. I think he gets a lot of shit for being hammy and over the top, and I think that's unwarranted because I think the guy's really throwing himself into it. Mm-hmm. And
I never feel like I can't name them off the top of my head, but it must be dozens of films that he's either he is featured or he has like a little cameo or whatever the case. But I never feel like the guy is like just there for a paycheck. I always felt like,
Yep.
you know, even if you can argue it's like, oh, it's Vincent Price being Vincent Price again. It's like, yeah, exactly. That's all you need. I mean, he's so good at it, you know. It just seems genuine, you know. I mean,
he is Vincent Pricing very hard at you. That is what you've paid your money for.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think I'm the same as you guys. I think we're all the same age, essentially. So I feel like Thriller was the first time I kind of recognized him, but then realized in hindsight, like, I know I saw him on Scooby-Doo because I watched Scooby-Doo every day after like kindergarten. So I know he was on Scooby-Doo repeatedly as himself. So I know that I've seen him before, but yeah, I don't know when I dove in and got into him. I think it was as an adult when I started doing psychotronic stuff, and I discovered his Corman Poe cycle, which a lot of people don't talk about as much as I think they maybe should. I mean, House of Usher, well, Haunted Palace is actually a Lovecraft adaptation, but I'm trying to think what else there is. Oblong Box.
Did they do Pit and the Pendulum?
Pit and the Pendulum.
Yep.
Thank you. I was just, missing one. There's a poem, one
like
based on a
red,
poem.
was it like you said the House of Usher? I feel like there was something with like the Red Mask or Crimson
Mask
Mask.
of
The
Red
Mask
Death.
of the Red Death. Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah.
There's,
See? Yes.
Conquer a Worm. I think that's just only a name adaptation, I believe. And there's one that's named after like a poem that Poe wrote about a dead wife that I'm totally blanking on, and it's got kind of Laura vibes, like the wife that replaces the deceased wife, and
Like Annabelle or
no, it's not Annabelle. Oh god, it's gonna drive me crazy. Anyway,
See, this is what I love about this show. It's taking us back to when we were children and we couldn't just look at the phone and we're all just spitballing like we used to.
yeah. Yeah.
so we've set the stage. A little bit about this film. This was based on a pulp novel. Surprised? That was called I'm sorry, I have a hard time with the British version. The Disorientated Man. See, I would say disoriented as an American, but I think disorientated is more a British thing. By Peter Saxon, which was a house pen name. It was originally used by an Irish pulp fiction writer named W. Howard Baker, who wrote novels in a series called Sexton Blake. How fucking great is that for a series of pulp books?
I got to write that down.
I read the Sexton.
That's like a Cthulhu character name, right?
Yeah, totally.
Use that.
Sexton Blake.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then he moved to another publisher and kept writing, and then they just kind of used that pen name for other stuff. So this was actually written by somebody else and edited by that original guy. But so that was just a house name they used for just any kind of pulp stuff. And the guy that directed this actually admitted, like, this is basically just a trash novel. It's something you read on the train to and from work. And, we got tasked with producing this. So it's kind of lurid, sci-fi horror, right? So one of the interesting things is that in the novel, the key element that makes the whole thing gel and come together was removed from this film, the screenplay. And so the characters and the conspiracy and the everything don't really have any kind of resolution or make any sense in this as a result. So spoilers, by the way, there's going to be spoilers from here on out if you're concerned. This was an alien invasion conspiracy, and they decided to cut the alien part out the last possible second, just leaving it to be a kind of, for me.
Yeah. Okay.
So scream and scream again. Where do we start?
With the opening theme song.
So you want to hear the band?
Oh, please.
Yes.
Okay, so they got this band. So I have two areas of like musical expertise, in my opinion. Like if you were like doing that, call a friend shit, like you put Matt on speed dial for 60s pop and 90s indie rock. Okay, those are my two things that I would put a testicle on the line for. I don't know who this band is. The Amen Corner.
Yeah.
the band that plays in this hip London clubhouse, whatever. Like, and it's a deal. Like I looked them up. They had like 2 greatest hits collections. So
wow.
I was shocked. Volume 2 was what Scream and Scream Again was on. And this is not my fucking vibe musically. Like I really, okay. So 60s wise, I love the 60s. I love how turbulent it was, like the complete 180 and social, mores and everything that happened between 1961 and 1969. Like, you couldn't get buzz cut and sweater vest and, fucking bow tie to like fucking John Lennon and Abbey Road. Like it doesn't get more bananas change than that. Right. But I find 1969 to be the most depressing part of the 60s. Cause it's like that, the paisley is kind of going dark and the sparkle and the LSD is kind of done. And it's that phase of like, yeah, I know LSD's kind of played out. Have you tried heroin? Everybody's got to try heroin, right? Like, John and Yoko were doing heroin around this time. Like it just feels dirty. Like everybody's hair's a little too long and it's just, everything feels kind of dirty and dark and a little bit like the Summer of Love's over. And now it's just the part for the grossness. And this totally exemplifies that. Like this dance club they're at called the Stone Pot or the something kettle. It's just gross.
If you could see it.
Yeah, if you can see it, it's super dark.
It was a little dark.
It looks like the milk bar from Clockwork Orange, and but the band to me sounds like what was Rod Stewart's band? Was that the Faces?
The Faces.
Okay, so this sounds like the Small Faces. You know that band, that big beat band, kind of like I don't want to say soul. They're kind of like big beat, freak beat stuff. Late '60s, mid to late '60s. They're pretty cool, and they have some stuff I like, but I just don't lock into that groove very hard. And this band is like the Small Faces times 1,000 of like what I don't like about the Small Faces, like this wailing, shrieking kind of bluesy British guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Should we just play some?
We owe it to the listeners.
Okay.
I was just thinking to myself, like when I first heard that song, the title song in the film, I was like, this is kind of, like Devin and I were kind of dancing a little bit. Scream and scream again, scream. I was like, hey, this isn't so bad. I mean, I've heard worse in these movies. I've seen a few of these things and it could be so awful. And then I started to like look at my watch. I was like, where are we at? Oh, this is still going. Oh, wow. Are they going to do this through the whole film now? Oh, dang. It's like you said, the decade of the 60s. How did it go from just like, my hair's a little shaggy and it's clean and I took a little puff of this, and then 69 and you're all strung out and you're practically in the gutter face down. It's like, that's kind of, I think that whole evolution through that song. That was like my kind of experience almost.
Yeah, there's also a cardinal sin for me with I have lots of issues with music in movies, particularly when you're showing a band performing or something. This performance, I guess this is the Amen Corner performing, or supposedly, but it is them and it's their song. But the lip syncing has nothing. They appear to be doing a completely different song.
Yes,
in a completely different time signature. Like they just show the singer in this kind of weird over spotlight over his head, kind of like sunken cheek look, and he's just kind of like going at like half speed, clapping every like 7 measures. Like it was driving me bananas. Like I get mad when the drums aren't synced up when they're actually like trying to like fake a band playing. So this dude like mouthing along with a completely different song and clapping out of time drove me bananas.
All of the post-production sound in this movie was terrible.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Every post-production thing was bad, especially the long shots of the band. The long shots of the band, they didn't bother to even remotely try and sync it up.
Right. And they used it more than once, I think.
Oh, God. Yeah, twice.
Right? I mean, and I almost felt like you said, in post-production, it's like, was this like some film footage that they had and this wasn't actually shot for the movie? I mean, like you said, Matt, it just like, obviously it wasn't synced up like they were performing the song.
But that's far from the most egregious part. My least favorite post-production sound moment is when our antagonist is running through the woods and the panting that the person on the ADR is doing is not even remotely in sync to what his pace is or his arm, his stride, nothing. And it's just, I was imagining being in that like ADR studio and just like, do I sound like a prank caller? Do I sound like an fancy phone caller? Because I'm just running really hard. It was so bad.
It was. On the show, we typically try and do like a really brief overview of the plot in case someone hasn't seen this, so they can follow along. But I don't know if that is apropos here, because this was based on The Disorientated Man, and I was the disorientated man in the first film, the first watch through. I had no idea what was going on for most of the movie. The first half, I was completely confused.
I would say it seemed like, were they intending to do an anthology at first?
I felt like this was a fucking pilot to a TV series, to be completely honest. It felt like it was starting.
Like, at least the first 15 or 20 minutes, it seemed like almost 3 different films. Mm-hmm. And I kept thinking like, oh, they're going to bring it together at some point, right? There's got to be like a focus, right? Second act, am I asking for too much? Or, oh boy, what are we headed towards?
The 3 opening scenes all end with a fade out and start with a fade in. So I'm like, are we in 3 different timelines? What is going on?
Is this a BBC documentary about life in London in 1969? All unrelated?
And what does that jogger from the opening sequence have to do with any of this?
Okay,
the jogger from the opening sequence, and then like the strange communist country with the pitchfork.
Let's take turns. There's 3 stories. There's 3 of us. You're gonna take the commie thing. Rob, you're gonna take the vampire killer case.
Who is you? Me. I'm the vampire killer case?
No, Rob is the vampire killer.
Okay.
And you're going to do the foreign country? Which I really had my head in. Okay. So, okay.
You're going to help me with the vampire killer case. I've almost like forgotten about it already.
And then I'm going to
That was my favorite of the 3 movies.
Okay, then you guys switch.
Okay.
You're...
Okay, I'd like the dystopian fascist kind
you're
of.
Doing the first order, yes.
Right. Okay.
Oh boy.
And that leaves me the cops. No, Vincent Price's story. Where do they? I think I'm thinking the 2. What's the third story? There is
the doctor's story.
The doctor. Oh, the
doctor.
Yeah, the young doctor.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Okay. And Vincent Price. Yeah.
So. There are 3 movies going on here, and they deign to talk to each other at one point in the last 15 minutes of the film, which is nice because, they've been
gotta wrap it up at some point, I guess.
Headspace for 94 minutes. It's nice that they talked to each other in the last act and said, "Hey, how you doing? I baked you some bread. Welcome to the neighborhood." Who wants to start? I feel like the biggest what the fuck to me was the foreign agent, like the foreign country. Like I didn't understand. Is this a not too distant future? Is this like Marvel where they're just like Wakanda, here's Latveria or whatever, like make up, which is what it was, I think, right? They just made up a small European country, right?
Yeah, to me it seemed like a gross overestimate of what the communists in Eastern Europe could possibly have been up to at that time in history. But
right,
like the evil empire, right?
Because this was like before Thatcher's England, about 10 years or so at least, right? So it's like, well, okay, so we got to put that out of perspective. But they were definitely wearing uniforms that were kind of homogenous or similar to the old, Hugo Boss Nazi Party SS kind of uniforms, right? Except, like you said, it was almost sort of like kind of like a pitchfork kind of thing. But, the stark crimson red, field against the black. I mean, it was pretty obvious what they were looking at there.
And you have to remember that England at that time was less than 15 years out of World War II.
Well, yeah.
For sure.
So to me, the logo...
No, 25, sorry. Bad math.
Oh, you're right, 25.
69, 45, yeah.
So the logo to me, the only way I could describe it, I was trying to think of how I'd talk about this with you guys. Okay, do you know when you go to a tailgating event or some outdoor event and they have those fold-out tents that you erect this aluminum
kind of like that portable gazebo almost kind of?
Yes. It looked like the frame for a portable gazebo. It's
I love it.
Arrows pointing up with diagonal struts going between all the arrows. That's
amazing.
Well, see, they don't sound so bad now when you put it that way.
Yeah, the tailgaters. They were coming from a good place.
Do we all get one of these Quonset huts, or what's going on?
Okay, so they were a country then. This wasn't like as a dystopian London in the near future
thought. But then upon research and a second view, I realized they're completely different because at one point they were talking to Christopher Lee, who is like in the ministry of some politician in England, and saying your fighter pilot flew over our airspace. And there was this bomb that was supposed to make it blow up so there's no evidence that it didn't work. So now we have your pilot, we have your plane, and you just are involved in an international incident.
I was trying to make any heads or tails of that.
Yeah, it took two views. This movie took two views, honestly, for me.
Okay.
Yeah. For a solid 10 minutes, I thought Christopher Lee was with the communists.
So did I.
And then he was making a deal with the communists, and I went, well, I must have misunderstood that.
Yeah, because I was like, well, then how did that tie him in with the detective and the police force? Okay, thank you. That ties it all together much more nicely now. It does actually make me enjoy the film, though, a little bit more now in retrospect, knowing that, because, that actually makes more sense. Although you aren't given too many clues, though, exactly about how that's breaking down, because it does seem that the editing isn't great in the film. I mean, like I said, that first 15 minutes, it seems like you have three separate films running supposedly parallel to each other. Although they really don't seem to have anything to do with each other. But
no.
I just want to circle back, if I can, very briefly, to the first scene in the movie where you have a runner running away from a bus and to music. And that is the music I was talking about. That was the music when you were like, I don't like this music. I'm like, are you kidding me? This opening tune is great.
Oh, the jazz soundtrack?
I legitimately enjoyed this.
Let's play a little bit of that music.
And this stuff I love, but I'm like, this has nothing to do with any of the scenes that it's going over the top of.
The guy in hot pants running at you.
That is the most confusing thing about the movie to me. At the end of this sequence, at the end of this, experience, the thing that I have the most questions about is what was up with the jogger. Was that a flashback that someone was having? Because he fell down and then he woke up.
Yes.
And did he have a heart attack and they swooped in and took him and then started stripping the flesh off of?
Yes.
That I really want to know.
No, yes, you're right. So, folks, if you didn't see this movie, the film opens with a guy jogging. And then he clutches his side or his arm, and he's had a heart attack apparently, and he wakes up in a hospital, and he's disorientated, like a disorientated man. And then he pulls the sheets away and finds out he has no legs. That's the start of our Vincent Price.
He's missing one leg at first.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a slow harvest.
It's like piece by piece
throughout the film.
Yes. Well, that's the other beautiful thing, because they only pulled the blanket off twice. Once when he's missing a leg, and then once when he's just like a torso.
Yeah. Johnny got his gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Things escalated quickly.
And that whole opening credit sequence, title sequence too. It's like that scene from Monty Python's The Holy Grail where the two guys are staring out afar across the field, and the guy seems like he's still 1,000 yards away, and he keeps looking, and it's like he doesn't get any closer.
And then he's right there.
And then suddenly, bam, he just drops and he's like, ah! Like he has whatever he says, a heart. I don't even know why he had that particular heart attack or whatever at the time, but it seemed like it was planned that way, right? Because suddenly he's in that hospital and they start collecting limbs from the guy. So that whole transition too, I don't know.
Yeah. So you're doing the First Order story, right? So what do we see of them?
How am I doing?
You're doing the film justice. Let's put it that way. So there's a guy that has a Spock death move.
The
pinch.
Middle finger, beware the middle finger.
Nerve pinch on the shoulder.
Yes.
They're brutal. We see them. There's so much randomness in this. Like, did you recognize?
Apparently, the head of this order, or he was. And he wants to right, and he wants to become more political in a sense, rather than like just imposing their will or their law. He doesn't want to be, I don't know, quite the brutish, authority figure that the public seems to deem them to be. Of course, he's, like you said, the guy with the beware the middle finger. Does the Spockian love clamp on his trapezius muscle, and suddenly the guy just withers and drops to the floor, and you're like, what happened? And that occurs a few times in the movie, and you have no idea why people are dying because he gives them a little Spock pinch on the shoulder. But
I feel like I made amends with how random that storyline was, and now that we're talking about it, it seems even more bizarre than it did the first. So that guy, I think you're talking about. Okay, so Peter Cushing is clearly one of those dudes that they brought in after the fact for one day, and he did a scene where he's just saying like, our brutality, our Nazi type ways aren't playing in the modern world. We need to be more political and be blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. And his guy right beneath him is like his lead interrogator or whatever you want to, man at arms. I don't know the fuck he is, but I think that's Anthony Newlands, and I think he's playing the role of Ludwig, I think is his character's name. And he ties all these stories together in the end. We see him interrogating some defectors, one of whom is Utah's.
Is that what they were doing?
Guard. Yeah, they're running away.
I was just like a couple having a picnic, and then suddenly they're being shot down by this Jeep that's just sitting in a field.
I've seen The Great Escape like 10 times. They were.
I literally thought they were doing cardio. Like I thought they were running up a hill.
They're going to meet the jogger.
The Jeep's just there. The Jeep doesn't drive up. It's just there.
But did you recognize that blonde, the defector?
No.
She's Yuta Stensgaard. She was in The Velvet Vampire. You ever seen that? That sexy 70s erotic vampire movie. I think it was Hammer. No, you got Velvet Vampire. It's good.
Right.
Anyway,
Writing it down.
she was kind of wasted. Don't know why she was even in there. Okay,
I think I know why she was in there.
Because you could see her nipples through her shirt.
Maybe.
Well, I did actually kind of like the
Maybe she was the compass.
The menacing interrogation of her, though. So her lover was shot and killed, and she was taken in, and the heavy we're talking about, Ludwig, I think his name is, comes in and he eats a drumstick, and then one of his lieutenants hands him like wire cutters or whatever, and he split in half, and then he kind of says, "You'll tell me what I want to know," and then he grabs her finger and. That was a effective menacing.
Sure. Yep, that was effective. Yeah.
Meanwhile, in London, Devin, what's happening in London?
Meanwhile, in London, women are turning up dead with identical, like, weird sex torture marks and two puncture wounds on their wrists, drained of all their blood. And so the best character in the movie gets on the case, Mustache Cop.
Can we? Okay, I watch a lot of British stuff. I thought the accents were a little thick. Like the first scene when the cops are springing into action, I was like, what the I might have been high. I'm not going to lie. I might have been a little high. But I was having a hard time following the very rapid-fire cops with the thick London accents. Can I play a little bit of this, like, how rapid-fire this is?
Please do.
It's in Sussex, isn't it, sir?
That's right, about 40 miles, yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
What is it?
Professor Kingsmore's gone to the theatre, sir.
I hope he enjoys it.
Well, he says it's the first night off he's had in a month.
Well, my heart bleeds for him. Who the bloody hell has?
Sorry, sir.
Go and get Sergeant Joyce to get my car ready, will you?
Yes, sir.
Get hold of Kingsmoor, will you, Phil? Don't stand for any bloody messing about. I want the PM as soon as he can make it. Sortle, go to the mortuary with the body, will you? You're in charge of all the exhibits. Ask them to send the PM to the station as soon as they can.
Right away.
Hold it, please, sir. Right, get out of the way, will you? Listen, I think it might be a good idea to get some of the special patrol boys stationed around the common tonight.
Do you think he's likely to return, sir?
Well, he might not be too far away. We can't take any chances.
Do you think he's a weirdo, sir?
What do you think? I want more men, more phones. Get the murder room set up by the time I get back. In the car, Joyce.
Right. Where to, sir?
Crawdon.
Is it murder, sir?
Is it murder? Don't be so bloody stupid. Come on.
Meth
I love
is a
that
hell of
guy,
a
though.
drug, man.
Yeah, I love that guy, though.
That guy's great. He was actually one of my favorite parts of the movie.
He was what oftentimes when I am the guest on the show, Matt will ask me to summarize the movie, and my summary was going to be entirely wrapped around that character's understanding of the plot.
That would have been a wise choice.
Because, yeah, I was riveted to him. Anytime he was on screen, he was like working class English cop all the way. And I felt like so much fun. So much fun to see him work with Vincent Price a little bit. Loved him. But also to be the guy who's like, I'm in charge and I've been told to cover this up and I'm not happy about it, but I also understand the chain of command. So, yeah, my favorite character is the doctor or that cop.
So they've found a victim, and it's a young lady, and they go to talk to her employer, and that's when we get to meet our star, supposedly, Vincent Price, Dr. Browning.
She with a boyfriend, you know?
I really have no idea.
Tell me, is she from London or round this way?
Well, I think she's from the north. I got her through an agency. Please, can't you tell me exactly what she's done?
She hasn't done anything. Putting it crudely, someone's done her.
What?
She's dead.
Oh, that's terrible. Perfectly terrible. How did it happen?
Her throat was cut.
Well, you don't believe in breaking things gently, do you?
I have to know all you can tell me, sir. Her movements, friends, family, you know.
Well, I'll tell you all I can. I really didn't know her very well. I took a couple of phone calls for her once from a girlfriend.
Yeah, well, I don't think we'll be looking for a girl in this case, son.
No?
No. She wasn't just murdered, if you know what I mean.
Grim.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they meet Vincent Price. They meet. They go to the morgue to meet old wizened doctor and young handsome doctor. Who
yes, yep.
Who you can tell.
Yeah.
He's new at this because he's like, oh, he's having a hard time dealing with the naked corpse of this beautiful woman, and he's scrubbing his hands later, and they're like, you'll never get the smell off you. Like he's idealistic and
he's new.
Fresh. And then you get to go and follow. You get to go and meet the Amen chorus. What are they called?
The Amen Corner.
The Amen Corner at the bar.
That's a terrible band name too. They didn't do anything right.
I mean, yeah.
Ugh.
At a very, very poorly lit bar. Like, I get that you want to go to a poorly lit bar, but I don't want to watch a poorly lit bar on my TV.
Yeah.
For a long time.
And that dancing was fantastic.
Yeah, I watch a lot of 60s movies, and I'm used to some bad dancing, some goofy dancing. This was especially bad. Typically, I would think production-wise, when you had these wide shots, you would actually be playing the music and cutting. So people would be dancing to the music that's going to be in the film, and then you would kind of edit around that to where the dancing made sense rhythmically. Not here. Gave zero. Yeah. Wow. So all of those club scenes were brutal for me. Plus that really obnoxious. The scene you're talking about is when we meet the next Vic, and she's about to run into our killer, and she's with a friend who is like about as subtle as an SNL person playing a Cockney like housekeeper. Like, oh, he's cute then, ain't he? Oh, Blocky, going home with him, gonna keep his feet warm. Like, it's just awful.
Hi, he's over there.
I couldn't stand that woman. Like, when she's okay. After her friend dies, she's in the police department doing an identikit to try and help the police find the man who killed her, raped and murdered her friend. She's like, oh, well, there's his mouth gone. That makes his chin look silly, don't it? No, he's got bigger eyes. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Oh, so
everybody grieves in different ways, but not that.
No.
Not one of the acceptable ways.
I think she was a flatmate more than a friend.
Okay. Slightly more acceptable.
The killer takes her out, and then they go in the car, and they neck in a really even poorly worse lit scene than in the bar.
Yeah.
And she says my second favorite line in the movie, which is, "Not here. It's no good here."
Yeah. What is that?
I thought it was a secret code for a second.
And I think she's like trying to do like this, kind of like euphemism by like stroking the stick shift in the car, which looked like was almost like reminiscent. I think it was like, was it from the Michael Caine Get Carter
Mm-hmm.
film? Where I think they do something much more well done, of course, but I was just like, I think they're trying to kind of borrow from that movie a little bit there with that little bit of euphemism, but.
There's a particularly nasty scene of sexual violence, and then I'm going to skip over that, and then then the cops got to get into action. They're like, we got to figure this out. We got to send our prettiest lady cops into a bunch of apparently daytime discotheques.
Sure.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, there was daylight.
Because here's the thing. I have to say, they send the lady cop in with the microphone in her shoe. She goes into the disco dancing place with her boyfriend or whatever, her boyfriend, other cop. And then they're dancing. They're like, and he's like, you got time for one last drink. And I'm like, oh, this has got to be pretty late in the day. And then or like early in the morning, 2 a.m, they leave. And I'm like, is this bad day for night photography? No,
Yes.
It's just daytime. It's daytime the whole time. They're not even trying.
Well, he says to her, like, do you normally have to go home this early, and she said just like when I have to work tomorrow. Like it's supposed to be like 10 or something, but it's clearly, yeah.
It's new.
Maybe it's Alaska. I don't know.
I was like, are we in Alaska? It made no sense. There were way too many cars on the highway, brightly lit. I was like, that is ludicrous.
So our vampire killer that we're talking about, my wife was really upset by his pink silk blousey shirt with the ruffles. Like, I don't know.
Hey, he wore it well.
He did, but he looks like Mick Jagger and Peter Noon from Herman's Hermit's Love Child. Got kind of a weird vibe going on.
You have to have the poofy shirt for two reasons. One, it's to make sure you think he's a vampire. And two, it is to hide the fact that his stunt double is twice as wide as him. And all the poof gets in the way. It's the illusion.
So this guy is Keith, and he is played by Michael. I'm not sure how you say his last name. Gothard?
I think it would be Gothard.
I mean, there's a comedian here that has the name Gethard, so I'm assuming it's TH sound. Yeah, I don't know who that guy is. He has a very distinct kind of gaunt look to him. Interesting face. Mm-hmm. He was in For Your Eyes Only.
Oh.
Didn't know that.
I will have to rewatch that.
Yeah. Just now. Anyway, so he plays this Superman. There's this really long sequence in the middle of the film.
Wow.
That is, as Devin was saying, they put a tracking device in the heel of her shoe, and they mic'd her up they wired her for audio. And so she goes off with this guy, the first guy. What a great fishing expedition. The first guy she nets is the killer. And they're listening to her from a remote distance of like 20 meters or so. And they hear sucking sounds. So they rush and find that he's sucking on her wrists, drinking her blood. So they start fighting him, and it turns out he's a Superman. He's incredibly strong, freakishly strong. And there's a really long sequence of a car chase in his sports car, some throwing off cops like mosquitoes. Kind of a cool sequence where he runs up like a rubble hill, and then he starts Spider-Man climbing up the very, very top.
Yeah,
I loved that. I loved that bit.
And then he loses his grip and falls all the way down. And they manage to overtake him because he's stunned. And they handcuff him to the bumper of a police car. And this is like one of the, I think, set piece scenes. Is they're calling into the station or whatever and making arrangements or something, dispatch, whatever, and come back, and all there is in there in the handcuffs is a torn off hand. So he has fled, and there's another long chase where he's running around some empty factory or something like that, some Dickensian ruins, and playing hide and seek with them, and then he runs off again to another place and jumps into a vat of acid.
Because, that's the way he wanted to go, apparently. That's just vat of acid. Because,
I mean, if you're gonna have a Vincent Price movie, if you're gonna have Vincent Price in your movie, you have to have a vat of acid.
Right.
It's a callback.
And of course, who shows up at the scene when this happens? Vincent Price. Oh, what an odd coincidence.
Oh, I see you discovered my vat of acid.
And he has a very reasonable explanation if you want to hear it.
I would love it.
Oh, yes.
You might think, why does this guy have a vat of acid in an old barn? Normal question.
Right.
My man's going to lose an arm, Doctor. Now, what's a vat of acid doing out there?
Well, you see, I'm involved in some very important cancer research. I breed germ cultures, and I watch their growth and their effect on human tissue. I work with animals, and I have arrangements with several hospitals.
The acid.
Oh, yes. Well, obviously, after a time, some of the material I use decomposes, and so I destroy it in the acid in order to avoid spreading dangerous bacteria. Won't you sit down?
I see. And you've no idea who the killer can be, eh?
From your description, no, I'm afraid I don't. Will you have a cigarette?
But his first victim was a member of your own staff, and now he seems to deliberately make his way here and jump in the acid.
Yes, I've wondered about that, too.
There you go.
So I'm not a really good detective. But I feel like when Dr. Brownie comes up on your radar twice for one case, right, you got to start connecting some dots. As our detective does. Mm-hmm. He's actually effective. Mm-hmm. What is his name? Belliver. Detective Superintendent Belliver.
Nice.
Is a cop that we love so much here. I
did fear for a moment it was turning from a vampire movie into a hand movie, but then I was like, oh, it's not a hand movie. It's good.
And I'm a sucker for hand movies, by the way.
Speaking of Michael Caine again.
Yes. One of the weirdest things for me was when I was a kid and I would stay with my dad, he would tell me some freaky stories. He's also like the first person I ever like stayed up late and watched a horror movie with, which was Alligator. It's Robert Forster.
Oh, okay.
I faked sick to watch it on cable, which was a new thing back then. But he would tell me the story at night about this hand, this disembodied hand that would crawl around, and it fucking horrified me. I mean, I was like 5 or something like that, 6. So as an adult, it was really weird to me to come back and see the Michael Caine film, The Hand, and realize he was just telling me the plot of The Hand, trying to get me to leave him alone, go to sleep or so whatever. But yeah, just I love Michael Caine, The Hand, just because of that. Just very fond memories. It's very corny, but it's a good movie. It's better than The Swarm.
Yes, better than The Swarm.
Which I also liked.
I liked how Vincent Price too was like almost trying to sort of change the subject. As like, would you like to sit down? Would you like a cigarette?
Super.
I mean, just throws it out there. Just tries to deflect a little bit. And the cop's just like, nope. It's just I see. Yes. Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
So was. Go ahead, Devin.
No. It's your show, man.
No, I was going to reach here. But
okay. I actually have a question, and it's a bit of a reach. I think I know why it's Keith, right?
Yes.
I think I know why Keith was doing what he was doing.
I would love to hear it.
Okay. I think I figured it out.
Yes. Do we want to hold this until we do a reveal here in a minute?
Yeah.
Because I want to try and tie. So Christopher Lee, in the meantime, you can't talk about this film linearly because it's 3 unconnected things that kind of collide in a really awkward way and ultimately unsatisfyingly, I think. Christopher Lee is a politician, as we mentioned earlier, and he is approached by this. What, are we calling them anything? What are they named? This country? These foreign agents?
Can we just say the communists?
We'll say the communists. He's approached by them about this international incident. They meet at Trafalgar Square to have like a meetup. All it really does is serves that they know each other and they're connected in a way that seems deeper than just politics. Mm-hmm. And there's a reveal at the end, and as I mentioned earlier, was neutered by the exclusion of a key plot point from the novel that would have made this all make sense, which is that they're all aliens. But that does not exist in this film. Mm-hmm. Okay, I just felt like I just need to bring Christopher Lee in. He also feels like he was an afterthought. So it's just kind of awkward.
Just star power that I think that they brought in, right? Just to get. Mm-hmm.
It's the poster, right? It is literally just Price, Cushing, Lee. That's all it is. I checked on my second viewing. Vincent and Christopher Lee have one shot together virtually. If you include stunt doubles, there's one shot where they're in the frame at the same time. Then it's cutting back and forth between the two of them, and then stunt doubles. I mean, it's missed opportunity, I guess. I feel like we get these 3 guys in a movie and you have them not interact at all. It's just a really weird decision. It had to have been done in post.
Well, and the thing that's frustrating, one of the things that's frustrating about the scene that you're talking about in Trafalgar Square is that he's like, what do you want? And he said, it's not going to make any sense to you. I want all of the information about the vampire murders. It does make sense to him. He knows.
See, that's it. Right. So there are figures that are all part of this conspiracy, if you want to say. It's and yeah, man.
And not all not all the communists are aware of it, but do some of the communists even know that they might be these quote unquote, they're not like super vampires.
No, and
right?
Part of this is a political commentary. Part of this is,
oh, for sure. Yes.
The Nazi stand-in guy is saying to Christopher Lee, the Thatcher or whatever he is, of like, you can't do what we're doing. You can't do this effectively in like in a not a democracy or whatever, like in an open society or democracy. Our political system is this is where this works and it thrives and it spreads. What we're doing, which is a complete mystery to the viewer. Like, but that is a message. Like, communism is a good nesting place for this type of evil. Mm-hmm. And in an open democracy, this would never fly, or it's more problematic. Why he wants to erase Keith, the vampire rapist killer's crimes, I didn't quite understand 100%. Just to stay below the radar, just to keep any off of the conspiracy, which again is never really developed at all in this film. Yeah. Right? I mean, they know each other. That's literally the conspiracy. Like, we're birds of a feather and from different countries. That's the conspiracy right now, as far as we know as viewers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the young doctor gets involved and he goes out to Dr. Browning's. He wants some of that acid. He wants to send it to a lab because he wants to know why Keith was superhuman, and the acid's gone. The female cop they used as bait drove him out there, and he told her to honk a la like Rear Window if something bad happens. Mm-hmm. He hears honking. He dashes back. The car's gone. He's stranded out in the middle of nowhere. The Nazi guy approaches our beloved cop, Detective Belliver, and kills him. He claims to be from another precinct or government or something, and he wants to look at the evidence, and then he says, I'm just going to take this with me. He's like, no, we have a room for you. You can't take the evidence. And he goes, I think I will. And he does the Spock thing. So we lost my favorite character.
Mm-hmm. Can I just circle back? Vulcan Love Clench is my favorite my favorite misspeak of or Spock Love Clench. Vulcan Nerve Pinch. I was like, Spock Love Clench. Oh, I'm gonna write that down. So thank you for bringing it back so I can say it.
Vulcan Kegel. What?
Kegel. Spock's Love Clench. That's one of those books.
So this young doctor calls someone about something, and they inform him that Belliver is dead. And so he goes out
Belliver was the one who said, don't investigate this anymore. I've been told to tell you, don't investigate it anymore.
Thank you. Yes.
And he was like, I'm going to do it anyway.
Right. So once he's dead, all bets are off, and he goes back to Dr. Browning's house out in the country. And that's where the film really ends, with a prolonged third act. Mm-hmm. And, Vincent Price, he's not the villain here, right? I mean, he's not a good guy, but he's not the worst bad guy. Like he has ideals, that's for sure. I mean, he's altruistic in his mind, which sometimes makes for the best villains.
Yeah, he's short-sighted. I would say he is a bad guy in the sense that he doesn't seem to have a problem with murdering people to make robots.
Right.
But he's not.
But still, in a way, I didn't quite get that either, where he was like sort of Frankensteining these people. But it's like, how does that? Again, maybe I'm looking this through the wrong set of eyes,
nope,
like that 21st century context. But But it's
I
just
thought
like,
it was-
how are they superhumans now if he's just switching parts? I mean, I
thought
got
it was
my
Weapon
Corolla, and I'm gonna put the red door on my blue Corolla. Yeah, and now it's a super Corolla.
No, they're composite people, literally in the sense of some of them are organic materials that are harvested, and some of them are. I think Devin's going to hit on this. Some of them are synthetic parts as well. They are Frankenstein, but they're not all organic source.
Yeah, like they were talking about how the tendons and the bones were synthetic.
Yep.
And
when they,
it was like,
yes, that's right.
Yeah.
When they did a test on because now they're vampires because they're super synthetic humans, I guess. But yeah.
I have a theory about that.
Yes, I did not forget.
But yeah, what I thought they were doing was literally like when they would take an arm, they would strip the flesh off the arm and put it on the skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
And then slowly, basically, they were just replacing the skeleton and some of the musculature to make them tougher and stronger. Because he was like, and then we're going to put this lady's brain inside. And I'm like, well, isn't that just who? Are you Frankensteining them or are you Wolverining them? And now I don't know it.
They're Frankenveining, Punisher Steining, Frankencastle.
Frankfurtering.
Oh, they're Frankencastling him. I get it.
So the young doctor is sneaking around Dr. Browning's mansion, and he confronts him, and Dr. Browning's pretty cool about it. He's like, I appreciate you're a colleague. We're of like minds. I think you're going to appreciate this. This is going to blow your fucking mind. So he shows him a young naked woman, and talks a little bit about that right here.
Look at this.
How long ago did she die?
She has never really existed yet. You see, she's been assembled piece by piece, organ by organ. She's a composite, like Keith.
Keith?
Yes, you remember the so-called vampire killer.
The boy who jumped in the acid?
Yes.
You made him?
Yes, he was my first, in a way. The first, anyway, with autonomously functioning brain patterns. Oh, the others all were really nothing more than robots. Now, you see, it's like taking the best working parts of two separate machines and forging them together into one perfect new machine.
So that's where it gets kind of confusing, it does sound like he's just literally mix and matching human body parts to make an optimal one, but it's also clear that he is introducing inorganic elements to make superhumans. It was a very poorly developed scheme, I guess, was my issue with it. But I think we're ready to talk about Keith and Devin's theory of Keith.
And I'm glad you played that part because it said Keith is the first with his own mind. He has his own mind, right?
He's almost Adam.
Yeah. I think as the first disorientated man or whatever, the first assembled person with their own mind, he realizes he's part of this huge conspiracy and he has to shine light on it. So he goes out and becomes a serial killer. So the police will track him down. And where does he go? He shows them he's super tough and unbreakable. And then he leads them directly to Vincent Price.
Oh, honey, that's way too much thinking.
I am convinced that Keith is trying to show the world the conspiracy.
I think it's a much more reasonable interpretation to be that unfettered id and absolute, superhuman strength makes you a monster.
He doesn't need to drink the blood. He doesn't need to drink the blood. It's never explained why he drinks the blood. He's making the murder so shocking that the police can't ignore it. It's going to ignite the flyers of all the people who were reading the Daily Mail. Come on.
Daily Mail.
I don't know. Keith didn't come across as that bright to me, though. I don't know.
That's because he didn't look like he was having a great time when he was stalking. didn't look like, oh, I'm enjoying this.
He was a little sulky.
Yeah.
He did do it during the day, though. I mean, that is pretty brazen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, there are fewer holes in my theory than there are in this movie. That's all I'm going to say.
I would never argue with that statement.
Well, no, you're not wrong.
I think that you put more thought into it than the screenwriter did, though, unfortunately.
Maybe.
So we're in final acts here. Vincent Price shows this doctor. He lets him even observe one of his things, right? But it turns out that he's going to take the brain from the female cop that was the bait, who disappeared, and put it in this new composite body, and young Doc can't do that.
No.
So even though he knows that they have like auto healing and all this stuff, he still grabs a scalpel and holds, puts it at Vincent Price's throat, and he's just like, "What are you doing? This is pointless."
Right.
And then he stabs his automaton, because pre-Keith composites were just robots, right?
Right.
He stabs her, and Vincent Price is like, "This savagery is silly. Like, this is stupid. You're not even."
There's no way you can win.
Yeah. Right. There's a good speech about man as God. There's a great reference to Super Race.
God's been dead for a while now, I think.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. And, there's like
and now
no
man
need for
is God, and he always was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciated.
Yeah.
So you created life. It's the old mad scientist's dream. Let's play God.
My dear young man, you know as well as I do that God is dying all over the world. Man invented him but doesn't need him anymore. Man is God now. As a matter of fact, he always was.
My favorite line of dialogue, I think, of the whole movie, I think, Matt, you're about to introduce it if I'm not incorrect.
I think I am too.
Oh, I'm so excited.
He's referring to, like, we're dancing around Nazi Superman at this point, really, right? So he's kind of explaining, like, the young doctor's basically doing this kind of meta, like, well, this is like the mad scientist dream, right? What you're doing here. And this is that clip.
20 years' time, we will be in positions of power, and then we'll be ready to act for the good of humanity.
We?
Well, you didn't think I was in it alone, did you? You think I could do it all on my own?
There are more of you doing this work?
Not many, but more, yes. We're like a slowly growing organism in its infancy now, but gradually maturing.
A super race?
Well, yes. But not an evil super race.
Which is what, the best villains would say, right? It's like, no, this is for the benefit. We're like the next level of evolution almost. It's just social, right? I mean, it's just Darwinism in a way, right? I mean, that's kind of how he's approaching it, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, super races get a bad rap.
And he says it so calmly and paternally. Well,
right?
It's not an evil.
Paternally, yes, absolutely.
Hey, he sold me. Okay. Then there's a bunch of bubbling pea or acid vat action going on. All of our characters converge. Turns out let's see who shows up first. He knocks out the young doctor. The communist guy shows up, says, "Hey, this vampire killer thing, your experiments, you've gone too far too fast. This is threatening the whole operation." And instead of forcing Vincent Price into Vincent Price puts him in the acid. Yes?
He tries Spock's love clench on Vincent Price, but it doesn't work.
Right. And Vincent Price rarely did a lot of physical stuff in his films, but in this one he grabbed an oxygen tank that's like a baseball bat and just is swinging, and that's him. Like there's a stunt double for some of the longer medium shots, but he was going a little nuts there in some of those close-up shots. I was impressed. I never seen him really do fight scenes before. So he gets that guy into the acid, and then Christopher Lee shows up, and this is the one scene they have together. The three big names. Their one scene is him showing up, and they have a really weird kind of wordless stare down. I don't know. The weirdest thing to me was that Vincent Price just kind of eased himself into a vat of acid instead of like he just kind of
he was convinced
acquiesces.
Because he's convinced that maybe I am not so altruistic. Maybe I am not perfect. Maybe I am actually broken. And so if I am actually broken and I'm not perfect because these new automatons that we've created aren't working out like we had planned, then I'm part of the problem. It was almost like his form of like suddenly self-destructing. So
I was reading it that way. Do you think that's actually what it was?
I think that's what went off. It's like suddenly like the light bulb he always had glowing over his head just exploded, and he just like, he suddenly had a self-destruct.
Initially, I thought it was poor camera work to disguise the fact that they weren't there at the same day, and he was choking him and putting him into the vat.
Me too.
That's what I thought at first, and then I thought, because I had read a little ahead about how the bad guys were supposed to be aliens. I was like, is this a hangover from that? Does Christopher Lee's character have psychic powers and he's like trancing him into that, and then they just didn't know how to fix it, so they left it like that?
Okay, so good point here. So we can talk about this fully. Was Vincent Price supposed to be an alien? Were there aliens that showed up and made composites to take over the human race?
Yeah, I kind of want to do a head count here. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know who's who at that point then. If they're either composites or aliens, or are they both in the original story, you think?
If you take the scene of the girl out, just of the girl, where like we're going to put her brain into this body. If they're actually building bodies from dead people and putting the alien brains in them.
Oh, that makes sense.
And then in 20 years, they're going to be in positions of power and they can guide the human race.
Nope, you just cracked it. Okay, that makes sense. Totally. Okay, God, they should have done that.
They should have done that.
It would have been a much stronger film.
I would have almost no complaints if that was the way the movie ended.
And so Vincent Price goes in the acid gently. And the young doctor and the cop that was that was rescued are sitting out in his car per his orders before this final showdown. He gets in the car and they say, so everything's fine or everything's finished or whatever. And he says, no, it's just beginning.
Right.
And then Scream Again starts playing and the credits roll. I was like, dude, this felt like a freaking pilot to a series. I would have watched the series, by the way, because British series are so short. I would have loved two seasons, 12 episodes of this,
over 6 years.
It seems like a solid Torchwood storyline.
And we're showing all 12 episodes.
Because I thought like, oh shit, Christopher Lee must be one of those composites too, or super vampire aliens or whatever. Or is he?
So yeah, if you just substitute composite for alien-brained human body, this makes a lot more sense. And it removes all of my issues with it.
Those words that just came out of your mouth, and then this makes a lot more sense.
Alien. So they're picking up random, almost dead people off the street and creating bodies for aliens' brains to go in. That does make a lot of sense.
Well, okay. No, what makes the most sense, obviously, is Plan 9, where you inject the brains of the recently dead.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Those, I mean, duh. But this is Plan 10, and it's pretty good. Wasn't great.
It's called Weapon 10 or Weapon X. I'm bringing it full circle, baby.
There you go.
Full comic turn. Do you guys have any comments that we didn't get to, or anything you want to talk about before we move into like judgment of this thing?
Ooh.
I had one aesthetic, an aesthetic that I kept hooking on my brain, and it is Monty Python. There are so many bits in there because they're filmed at around the same time, right? This was filmed in '69. Monty Python is a similar kind of thing. I feel like this is one of the kinds of movies that Monty Python was making fun of at the time. But I come to it through Monty Python and never having seen these movies before.
Right.
So I'm like getting this weird flashback of like, this reminds me of Monty Python. That scene where he's running with the terrible breath voiceover reminds me of Monty Python.
Yeah.
The opening credits remind me of Monty Python. The scene where Christopher Lee is sitting at his desk and in the foreground is just a sexy lady knee reminds me of Monty Python.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's very English camp of the time all coming together.
Wow. Yeah, those are some good observations.
Yes,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Yeah, the sexy lady. I literally wrote down "sexy lady knee" in my notes, and that's all I needed. I would know what that meant.
the one predominant or regular female cast member of Monty Python. You know, that's her knee right there.
Right. Not in drag. Oh boy.
I gotta say that, like, with like the Hammer Films and Amicus, that's the studio.
Yes.
Again, you know, all the actors they're 100% in. They're totally committed. You know, you can't say it's a poorly acted film, really. I mean, you know, we're debating about, you know, the material they're given to work with, but you know, the locations, the lighting, the filming itself is pretty decent. Again, the acting is certainly adequate. Well, except the lighting in the nightclub, of course. But I mean, again, you know, we know it's probably not, you know, necessarily has a high budget either. But I still do appreciate that everybody is trying. I know that sounds ridiculous to say, but I mean, honestly, I mean, Matt knows better than anybody else, having a podcast devoted to, you know, people that, you know, even though they're trying, it's still not good enough. At least in these, you know, these seem like people that are qualified actors.
Right.
And I do appreciate that. I know that's not a resounding compliment necessarily, but
do you know, does Wikipedia adjust for inflation when they do budget stuff? Probably not.
I don't know.
So this was budgeted $350,000 and it pulled in $1.2 million. So this was no slouch in the box office.
Yeah.
Returned.
I wonder if the majority of that went to like the big three, you know, like Vincent Price, Cushing, and Lee, you know, for as fair, you know, as brief of a role that they had in this movie. I mean, Peter Cushing, I mean, combined screen time under 5 minutes, maybe.
Peter Cushing?
Yeah.
Easily.
I mean, it was not much. I mean, it was I guess, important role in a way, but as far as screen time goes, I mean.
Oh, that role very much seemed like they had offered it to him on Tuesday and he showed up on Friday.
Yeah.
For sure.
So can I read you from The Price of Fear?
Can I film that between these other two roles that I'm filming that day?
Totally. Here's Vincent Price's recollection in The Price of Fear. That was an odd film. It starred Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, and myself, but for the life of me, I don't remember us ever shooting a scene together. As a matter of fact, the only thing I remember about that film is that I die at the end by falling into a vat of acid or some such nonsense.
Wow.
That was Christopher Lee's second film with Vincent. They had been in the Oblong Box, which was also a Poe thing, I think.
The
Oblong Box, was that Poe? Christopher Lee said this was the first time that Vincent and Peter and I ever appeared in the same film. However, we were all three virtually defused. I had about 8 minutes of screen time and Peter even less. I played the head of the aliens, but in point of fact, he is supposed to be the head of British intelligence. At least I did have something to do on the screen. I shot one whole sequence in Trafalgar Square. If you can remember your lines with all the traffic and the crowds of people behind the cameras watching, you can do anything. That was his recollection. So none of the big three were blown away by the experience. Peter Cushing's even more forgiving in his quote, just saying, like, I feel like if I get to work and use my craft and in any way I can make my project better by being in it, then I'm happy to do my job, because my job is to be an actor and I'm not, fussy about it. Mm-hmm. Maybe he's very, very, very humble person.
He seemed very diplomatic in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of Cushing again, didn't he? I mean, like you said, this was like filmed in like '69. I couldn't help but thinking of his character from Star Wars when he was in that uniform. I was like, and not that this necessarily like was any sort of warm up, and obviously he can't predict the future, but I couldn't help but seeing that character though.
Yeah, definitely.
I love Vincent Price. I don't know if he did the best job in this, because it did seem like he was delivering monologues that were interrupted by other people sometimes.
Yeah. I think that he did the best he could do with a screenplay that was clearly a muddled. It had a couple passes. I think that I recall the director saying that the first screenplay they got was absolute garbage, and they did a rewrite and again pulled out that alien thing kind of at the last minute. So I think it was just kind of a misguided production ultimately. And I think that bringing in Lee and Cushing was a last minute kind of it worked, right? This made 4 times its budget back, so in the box office, so it did work, but it doesn't work that great as a film.
But I did have a hoot. I had a blast watching it. It was fun on a bun, even though it's not a great movie. I had fun with it.
Well, let's go into final judgment then. So if you're new to the show, as I mentioned earlier, we kind of decide A or B, binary, no blending, no goddamn half this, half that. You pick one and you explain your answer. You get a lot of asterisks and nonsense from people. And I want decisive action. So, Rob, is this cool or is this trash, and why?
This is cool, even though we just spent, portion of evening, picking it apart. Because I end up like Devin just stated. I mean, this was fun on a bun, man. I really enjoyed this, even though, again, it's like starting off the film, it seemed like you had 3 or more films that didn't seem to have any relation to each other. By the end, did they necessarily explain it? It's like, well, maybe not. But it was still cool to see the Holy Trinity in the film, even though they weren't necessarily in scenes at the same time. I thought there was like a few really great lines in there, like Devin's favorite line. It's like saying, we're not all bad, and some of the not necessarily subversive ideas or ideology they were getting across. They were about as subtle as a 5-pound hammer, but I was like, man, yeah. I guess I kind of did watching on an afternoon, but if I had a couple hours to kill, and again, I'm being redundant, but I would, and I did, I would, that's all, folks. But I really did. At the end of this, I was just like, okay, I had never heard of this movie. Obviously, I had never seen it. Afterwards, I was like, I was entertained. I was really entertained with this one. I don't know if it was just the timing of it or what, but I was really pleasantly surprised, and I would definitely give this a cool and a big thumbs up.
Right on. Devin, lay it on me.
This is the best movie I have watched for this podcast.
Okay, you can't judge it based on previous entries. This has to be a standalone
experience. Fair enough. Yeah, don't compare movies to any other movies.
Nope.
I really wanted to give this a cool. I'm giving it a trash. I would have given it a cool if they had even remotely stuck the ending. If they had anywhere tied anything together, I would have been like, this is a Shaggy Dog, but it works. It's a mess. It is a huge mess. And sometimes I can have fun watching trash. I had a ton of fun watching this. This is a schlocky, low-budget movie, elevated by the 3 names on the poster. I am more excited looking at that poster than I ever was during the watching of this movie.
So you say it didn't stick the landing, but can I just call back to it's just beginning? Huh? That didn't stick? Okay, so we got one cool, one trash. I've been agonizing over this all day, you guys. I'm not kidding. I have been waffling like a mofo. So I'm making my final decision on the fly here because I have thought through this. I took like an hour long. I walked like 4 miles after work and thought about this.
That's the dedication.
I was listening to God Emperor Dune, but I was thinking about this. I'm gonna have to land on trash. It was really hard for me. And it's mostly the same reasons that Devin had, that all of the pieces were here for a really solid B movie starring 3 of the biggest names in horror, and it just didn't gel for me. It was there was a lot of stuff I liked. I liked Price's performance. I liked the inappropriately jazzy, snazzy, brassy soundtrack. There were some set pieces that were kind of cool. But it just didn't gel for me. So it's a tepid trash. I would not recommend against watching it, but I definitely would not say go out and drop everything and go watch this. So that being said, 2 of us have antidotes to offer. And on this show, if we say something's trash, we have to offer up an antidote. And hopefully it's a free antidote and maybe even something related to what we watched, but it doesn't have to be. It could be anything. So, Devin, what is your antidote to Scream and Scream Again?
Scream again. It's the Tingler, baby. It's the Tingler.
God damn it. Okay.
Oh, did I take yours?
Took my goddamn antidote. So I'm going to let you talk about it. I'm just going to preface it with this is free and you can watch it at Tubi, which is, I plug this all the time on the show. Tubi TV has a ton of free content if you can put up with some ads. There's a pretty good selection of Vincent Price stuff. They have the Tingler. That was going to be my antidote. Please go, Devin.
It is hard to break the psychic spell that the Tingler has on me even now. And yes, I tell people you need to watch the Tingler, and because we live in the world we live in today, they go, oh, really? And I go, no, it's not that kind of movie. It's got Vincent Price in it, and it's about the physical manifestation.
But with Paul Lynn, it was called the Tingler.
It's about the physical manifestation of fear coming to life in a weird centipede-esque monster that terrorizes a small town, and the only way you can kill it is by screaming, and it's amazing. Vincent Price is super, like, you think Vincent Price is having a hard time holding this movie together? Vincent Price had to hold that movie together and had to be like, yes, my important research on the Tingler.
You know, I'm blown away by the Tingler because, again, it was based. I mean, William Castle is this. I'm not going to say a hack because I don't think he is. I think he's actually a very competent filmmaker. But he was a showman like P.T. Barnum, who was like, get him in, get a gimmick, get him in the seats, like that kind of guy. But he made good films, right? Like, I love his answer to Psycho, which is what homicidal or
homicidal.
I love that movie, right? Like all of his answer films are fun. This one with the gimmick we talked about with the tingling seats, like the buzzing seats. House on Haunted Hill. I can't imagine being a little kid I mean, that was made for matinee audiences. Imagine being a little kid and when the skeleton comes out at the goddamn end of that movie, a fucking skeleton coming out the top of the theater, swooping out over the audience. I would have eaten that up with a knife. And, I mean, I love William Castle. So The Tingler it stands outside of the gimmick is what I'm trying to get at. Like, yeah, it's still a good movie. Like, it's still good. You can see where the gimmick was inserted and where it was supposed to go and what it was supposed to do, but it's still super entertaining despite that. Yeah. So I definitely echo your recommendation there.
And even with the gimmick, they build the gimmick into the script where Vincent Price is running to a movie theater because the Tingler is loose in a movie theater, and then the lights turn off, and Vincent Price says to you in the theater, ladies and gentlemen, the Tingler is loose in the theater. Like, they build it into the movie. It's so good.
Yes.
Anyway.
Very good recommendation. And since you took mine, I'm not going to recommend House on Haunted Hill. I feel like if you're here for Vincent Price, you've seen House on Haunted Hill, and it's probably one of your gateway drugs. So, and I'm not going to do Last Man on Earth because we talked about that. However, have you seen The Bat with Agnes Moorehead, 1959?
No, I've read about it, but I haven't seen it.
It's not a supernatural horror. It's more of a mystery kind of thriller thing, but he's very, very entertaining in it. I recommend that one. I'm not going to say too much because it's definitely a spoilery type of thing, but easily found for free. It's on Tubi. It's pretty much everywhere online. That's worth watching on. That's definitely a Saturday afternoon in your jammies, being completely lazy and watching hacky stuff. It's a fun B movie. I was going to recommend, due to our current circumstances in this world, The Mask of the Red Death, but I didn't know if that was a little over the top, and it's also not free, so I passed on that. But that is one of my favorite Vincent Price movies as well. But I'm going with The Bat, easily found online. Check it out. Well, you guys, thank you for contributing to the Vincent Price Blogathon. I hope that you had a good time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Super fun. Really, really happy you asked me.
I'm glad you came on. It's always a pleasure to talk to both of you guys, and it was great to see your beautiful faces and beards.
Thank you. Good to see not yours, sir. I should have put my glasses on, though.
I wouldn't.
Oh, okay.
Nah, I know what we look like. You made the right decision.
So, folks, if you are a regular listener of the show and you want to find out some more about this Vincent Price Blogathon stuff, you can go to cinematiccatharsis.blogspot.com. And that guy is a nice guy, and he's also running this with another movie review site called Ouija Midget, which is at ouijamidget.wordpress.com. And you can find us, if you are here just for Vincent Price and you don't know what the hell the show is, we're on Twitter at @that's_trash. And we're also on the interwebs at that'scoolthat'strash.com. We'd love to see you. And thanks for checking us out. If you're new to the show or an old hand, thanks for listening. And thank you to Rob and Devin for being here.
My pleasure.
Nods affirmatively.
He's nodding very enthusiastically. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for listening. And for That's Cool, That's Trash, I'm Matt Howell.
I'm Rob Hafferman.
And I'm Devin Bruce.
And you folks out there, stay home, stay safe, stay sane, stay trashy. That's cool.
That's trash.
It's garbage, folks.
My hand!
Acid. Get it underwater, quick.
It burns! Oh.